Hey everybody, in this video I'll be walking through my playthrough of Act 3 of the Altars, which takes you to the final conclusion of the game. If you've watched my previous videos up to this point, you kind of already know the actions I've taken, but I'll just kind of quickly summarize where I'm currently at and the situation that I'm in before we jump into Act 3 and I go through everything that I did to finally beat it. There's also a variety of endings that you can unlock, so I'll show all of the main ones that you can get as well if you want to watch those, excluding the one where you work with Maxwell. Given that I chose the implant option on this playthrough, I couldn't do that one.
Wake up, sleepyhead. Bedtime's over.
Alright, so real quick, just backing up a bit, going into this act we find out that the technician, and in my case the shrink, had been working on a plan to run away and go it alone by commandeering the tour vehicle along with a bunch of supplies that they stole. Apparently they weren't very happy with how things went in Act 2. So as you see in the final cutscene, the technician jumps you in a surprise attack, causing you to fall down and puncture your helmet, and then while the scientist is busy saving you and the rest of the crew is distracted, the two rebels make their escape. Over the next few days, the crew continues on the journey while you're passed out in the infirmary, and here is where you finally awake to find out that they've run into this giant sandstorm, you're lost, the navigation system's down, the base is falling apart, and you've also got a few unpleasant messages waiting for you in the comms room that were received before the communication systems failed. Apparently, Ally Corp now knows everything about what's really going on, and they've got some feedback. And oh yeah, one more thing, Tabula Rasa, who I created before I instead decided to use the neural implants, he's now awake and moving around the base.
So, don't be surprised to find him rummaging for food in the kitchen or making a mess in the storage.
Okay, so that takes us back to the beginning of day 55 where we get the cleaning up the mess task. There are a bunch of messages in the communications room that we need to check, but first I wanted to go introduce myself to Tabula Rasa. He won't have much to say and you can't assign him to work or anything, so really he's just more of a background character in the base that will kind of wander around. However, he does have a few small parts here and there later on in the act.
Hello there. Yawn. Yawn. Yeah, great.
Also, with the base in disarray, I wanted to repair as many modules as I could. There's no time limit while in the journey period of the game, so you can take advantage of that and repair as much as you can. The downside, though, is that the workshop is also locked until you arrive at the next act, so I was limited by how many repair kits that I currently had in my storage, so I just kind of got done what I could. So after all of that, it was time to finally go face the music and check those messages that were waiting in the comms room. First is the introduction of a new character named Agatha, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Ally Corp. She doesn't sound too happy and basically just asks you to call her back immediately. And then next we've got Lucas, who sounds even more unhappy. Everyone at Ally Corp now knows about the altars and what's going on. And he's pretty pissed off that you went behind him and Maxwell's back and utilized the neural implants instead of the Tabula Rasa plan. And then finally, Lena also calls, who basically lets you know that she had to come clean and tell everyone at the company what was going on.
Out there, it might seem like you're making the right decisions, but from the outside, I mean, it's not looking good.
So with all of that up in the air now, there's really not much more you can do at this point as the base's communications are still down and you can't contact Earth. And besides that, you've got more immediate problems to deal with, like figuring out how to get out of this sandstorm. And speaking of that, after you listen to all the messages, the scientist will then want to talk, who voices his concerns about the current situation and how, quite frankly, he doesn't think Jan has the leadership capabilities to figure this one out.
I wish I could have done better. As your captain, no need to blame yourself. Apparently there was no way for you to ever become one.
While looking through the branches in the quantum computer, he explains how none of them ever lead to a life where Jan eventually becomes a captain. This then prompts him to suggest an idea where he repurposes the code that Maxwell sent over to create Tabula Rasa to instead manipulate your existing consciousness into an artificial captain branch. Without any better ideas and time quickly running out, you agree to head into the womb and allow the scientists to test out this experiment on you.
Just go into the womb, I'll plug you in, load Maxwell's code, and improvise.
All right, I'm activating the procedure. Any last words?
Yeah, is it okay to have second thoughts about it? Oh, right. My God.
After plugging you into the womb and starting the altar process, you awaken to this sort of hallucinatory segment where you walk through your life, periodically being confronted by this like creepy version of your subconscious that cryptically questions and criticizes you in a variety of ways. Finally, after completing what feels like a haunted house of retrospection, it concludes with something reminiscent of the 2001 Space Odyssey monolith scene, where you awaken back in the womb with your crew surrounding you while you gain the new perspective lesson trait that not only will give you a new outlook on life, but also unlocks the solution to escaping the sandstorm. With the help of the scientist, you come up with a plan to utilize the base's electromagnetic waves detection system to lock onto the tour vehicle. Hoping that the technician had better luck avoiding the storm, you can use that signal to navigate through it.
Nearby, the sensors could be able to locate it. And follow it. Right. If the technician really did find a way through the storm, and the tour vehicle is not too far away, it could be worth a try. Your subconscious might actually be a genius.
We're out of the storm. I don't want to be disproportionately enthusiastic, but it seems like our idea worked.
Our idea?
Yes, we brainstormed, didn't we?
Sure. Shouldn't it be here? The exploration vehicle?
We're close to the rendezvous point. It can't be far.
How are you today?
So now finally back on the main mission again, the first order of business was just to get everybody reassigned and replenish any needed supplies like food and repair kits. You'll also get an optional task called the Aftermath to track down the rebels that should be nearby after using their signal to escape the sandstorm. Talking to the scientist about this, he mentions that they're getting a signal from the vehicle, but it's too faint to pinpoint their exact location. Next, it's time to contact Earth and return Agatha's call, where you'll find out that Maxwell has been removed from the company and Lucas was reprimanded in some way. She'll also shed more light on the true nature of Maxwell's previous experiments, who apparently wasn't completely honest with you, explaining that they involved secretly altering the minds of test subjects who essentially went crazy as their personalities and memories were overwritten over and over again in his attempt to enhance cognitive performance.
Apparently that was not enough to contain him. Given the first chance, he decided to resurrect his project without permission. With you as his unknowing assistant.
Just get me out of here.
Then switching topics to the current situation, Agatha says that a rescue team is on the way, but she needs you to craft a beacon that will show your precise location for them to be able to pick you up. She also says this team can't find out about the altar, so you'll have to come up with some sort of way to smuggle them on board. Otherwise, she's not going to be able to guarantee their safety. She's concerned about the public finding out about everything, so she wants to be able to control the narrative and keep as few people in the loop as possible.
Safety reasons. You know how it is. The more pairs of eyes see them, the more mouths will need to be controlled.
So with all of that out of the way, it was time to get back to work. First, I had a planetary sample still from Act 2, so I used that to begin research on metals efficiency level 4, and then headed outside for the first time to kind of explore the new area. Given that my metals were so low though, and with no deposit set up yet, I spent some time farming anomalies for ALX, which I then had the refiner convert to metal. So while he worked on that, I found a nearby organics deposit, which is just kind of a straight shot up from the base's entrance, as well as a cargo crash containing a mug, which I eventually gave to the doctor.
Yes. I was missing
And then by this time, I had enough metal from utilizing ALX that I could craft the beacon, so I added that to the workshop queue and then had one of my alters begin working on that.
Tire tracks. It must be the Tur vehicle. At least I know which way they went.
Continuing to explore, I find my first sign of the Tur vehicle and the rebels down a path nearby the base. Following the tire tracks will lead to more clues of their location, but by this point it was getting a bit late, and also construction of the beacon was complete, so I head back to get that up and running, which can be constructed on a sea cliff overlooking the ocean.
Time to summon the rescue team. What the hell is that? Ah, shit. Pretty sure this was not supposed to happen. Please. Can't anything be normal on this goddamn planet?
And surprise, surprise, after turning it on, things immediately go sideways as something in the sky appears to be blocking the signal. So with that bad news, I head back to base to talk to the scientist about it, which will unlock the Sky's the Limit task to research a solution. The doctor also wanted to talk, so I head over to him, which leads into a conversation about a tattoo he used to have of Sisyphus. It was an important part of his life, but given he was created in the womb, it no longer exists on this body, and he'd like to get it back. This will start the Imagine Sisyphus Happy optional task. And then finally, to finish up the day, Lena calls where you catch up on things and discuss the current situation. You then mention that you've talked to Agatha and she said Lena wouldn't get into any trouble for helping the alters, which kind of confusingly causes her to get very flustered and abruptly end the call.
Shit, that's actually, you know what, I think I need to go.
So starting day 59, Lena calls back and explains why she ended the call so quickly. Now talking through a secure line, she explains that Agatha told Jan details that Lena never mentioned, leading her to believe that either Agatha or Allied Corp is spying on her. She then also reveals that she's found out that the rescue team coming to pick you up is actually an armed military unit, causing you to suspect that Agatha's request to smuggle the alters may just be an excuse to get them into a confined area to easily take them out. Unsure if this is true or perhaps just enhanced security to transfer the Rapidium, you begin planning alternative measures, with Lena saying that she could remove the neural implants from AliCorp's database, while also suggesting I reach out to Lucas to see if I can win back his trust to help hack the rescue ship to take control of it and pilot it remotely.
So, does that mean you'll try and contact Lucas?
I'll give it a shot, yeah. Why not?
So with that new development to deal with, I shift gears and focus on more serious and important matters, giving the doctor his tattoo back. You can ask around the base to see if any of the alters have artistic ability to help out. For me, the scientist and the botanist both volunteered to come up with designs, and then it was just a matter of crafting the tattoo gun in the workshop, which takes 8 hours to make. Then it was back outside to explore some more, where I find the mineral deposit, as well as encounter a strange new prism anomaly that causes your view to break up into a bunch of different pieces.
What's happening to me?
To destroy this one, you'll need to look for 3 glowing orbs, and once all of those are gone, your vision will return to normal, as well as get a nice chunk of ALX. Nearby this, you'll also find the metals deposit, as well as another cargo crash that contains a book. After that, I made my way back to base where a call from Lucas comes in, who at first is still a bit sour with everything that's happened. However, after convincing him about the true nature of Maxwell's experiments, as well as the role that Lucas played in creating the altars, he does feel a sense of responsibility and agrees to consider helping out.
Sure, Lucas. Think it over. Just remember, I'm a little pressed for time here.
Yeah, I know. Hey, lend me your ear. There's something I want to share.
After this, the refiner wanted to talk, who again had some concerns about Ben. In his branch reality, the rig that Ben worked on had a major accident due to unsafe working conditions that ended up killing him. Given that you found out that Ben exists and works in the same job in this reality as well, he's convinced that that same accident could happen again, so wants you to reach out and warn Ally Corp. Not really feeling like you're in a position to do anything too aggressive, you do agree to mention it to Lena, which begins the saving Ben task.
She gonna love me for it. Thanks, man. Thanks for doing this for me.
So back to the comms room to talk to Lena, where you mentioned the accident and the possibility of it happening again in this reality. Skeptical at first, using some of the learned lesson dialogue options, I convince her to look into it.
I know it's absurd, but it means a lot to my altar, and honestly, I'm worried that if we don't do it for him, I might lose him. That could put the whole mission at risk, you know?
Okay, fine.
Lena gets back to you about Ben first thing in the morning and says that no one took her seriously about the warning, so she decided to track down Ben and speak to him directly. During their conversation, she says Ben had personally been worried about the working conditions as well, but was hesitant to speak up until their phone call and now plans to say something. Taking this news back to the refiner, he'll be extremely grateful, and this will also complete the refiner's storyline and earn you the Keeping Him Safe achievement. After this, his mood will be maxed out and his work shift will increase to 12 hours. Next up, the tattoo machine was also ready to go, so I informed the doctor and decide to use the scientist design over the botanist. You can install the machine in the infirmary and then use it to give the doctor his tattoo. This will also complete his storyline as well, which will earn you the Happy Sisyphus achievement.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's get this done.
And then after all of that, the scientist had finished up his research on the beacon blockade. What's causing the issue seems to be another giant anomaly in the sky that's covering the entire area, and could potentially be the cause of your initial crash on the planet. The good news is that the scientist has identified 3 specific areas of interference, which he's marked on the map, that he believes are related to the anomaly, and studying them may provide more answers. This updates the Sky's the Limit task to go out and investigate these 3 locations. So heading outside, the first one's located over by the organics deposit, and it was about time that I get my mining outpost set up anyways, so I worked on that first. After surveying the deposit area for the outpost placement, I had a little bit of an issue connecting the pylons back to the base, as the low-hanging entrance area was kind of getting in the way. I'm not sure if this is the best way to do it, but I managed to wrap things around the giant tree up near where the first interference spot is to get everything connected.
Done here. Can I help with this now?
I then pulled out my illuminator, and kind of similar to doing the Planetary Sample anomalies, you can destroy the glowing orb, which revealed this sort of spectral part of the tree.
So, definitely something unusual here. Like a giant horizontal branch reaching somewhere. Good. Let me analyze the data properly.
And then after that, I got a message that Tabula Rasa was up to something in the airlock, so I ran back to the base to see what was going on. Once inside, you see him staring out the window, kind of mesmerized by the view, and after doing your best to have a conversation about it, you learn the joy of life lesson.
You want to tell me something?
Jan.
Oh. Did you Just want to show me the view? Yeah. I almost envy you. Yeah.
On day 61, it was one day away from a magnetic storm already, so I made sure I had enough repair kits and radiation filters, which also reminded me that I never built a 4th repulsor since I upgraded the base to tier 4, so I got one of those built to get back to max capacity and then headed out to take care of the other 2 interferences for the scientist.
Amazing. I've got a sort of trunk-like structure growing upward. Upward, you say? Yes. I think I know how we could use that information.
After getting that second one, I spotted another cargo crash nearby that contained a watch, which I gave the doctor. Seems like he gets a lot of these items. And then I began to find more signs of where the rebels were located.
The light. Almost there.
Continuing through this winding path, you eventually spot the technician, who apparently has been pretty busy with a camp set up with giant lights and in the process of building a shelter to withstand the coming radiation.
There you are. You okay? Huh? Seriously? That what you want to talk about? What the hell were you thinking? You got some guts to follow us all the way down here. Don't you get it? The party's over. I got the impression you wanted me to find you. Oh yeah? And what gave you that impression? The light? Why else would you bother with it? It's not for the rescue ship, is it? I wouldn't have made it through the sandstorm without it. Yeah, well, I was pissed at you, but leaving you out there to your death, I'm not that guy. You're going to die if you stay out here any longer. Our chances are better here than in the hands of corpo thugs, and you know it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got work to do. What the hell is this site anyway? What's it look like? That tour vehicle is good protection against radiation, but it's not gonna withstand the sunrise. Only a proper shelter will. This place provides the perfect terrain for one. So that's what you're building. Yeah, and it's no picnic, so why don't you get back to your base and just let me get on with it? Is there anything I can do? Yeah, let it go. Do you have enough food? That's none of your business. You don't have enough food. There's not enough of anything, okay? Are you happy? But I don't want your fucking help. Just go, okay? You're making things worse.
If you explore around the base a bit, you'll find another movie you can grab titled Aliens Have Finally Responded, and then since I couldn't really do much for the rebels at that point, I leave them to it and head out for the 3rd and final interference location.
Wow. This location looks like some kind of root system. I'm getting some quite extraordinary readings from there.
Since this was nearby the metals and minerals deposit areas, I also started surveying outpost locations for each of those. However, I didn't have time to get the pylon connection set up, so I need to leave that for another day. Back at base, I noticed that a new item called Supply Package was now available to craft in the workshop, which you can give the rebels, so I make a note of that and then go talk to the scientist about the interferences. He tells you that all of the interferences are part of a larger tree system on a proximity plane that leads up into the sky. This can be used to climb up and destroy the barrier, but first a Materializer needs to be researched to bring the tree to the physical world so you can climb up to the top. Once there, a fragmentation device can be used to destroy the barrier and allow the beacon signal to go through.
But I don't understand. It's not even there, physically.
And that is exactly the issue we will have to solve.
So day 62 was Magnetic Storm Day, and with 4 hours before that hit, I wanted to try and get my minerals and metals outposts that I built the day before connected to the base. Before heading out though, I took a look at the fragmentation device that can be crafted in the workshop, and then also added the Materializer module to the research queue. So making my way back over to the outpost, the pylon setup for this one was also a bit tricky with things blocking the way, but after connecting the metals and minerals outposts together, I found a spot up on this higher elevation that could go up and over the rocks to then connect everything back to the base. I also stumbled across a Planetary Sample location while doing this, but with the storm minutes away, I had to save that for later. And then it was mainly just a typical storm day, keeping on top of repairs and whatnot. However, I also did begin crafting the supply package for the rebels, which depleted my metals for any additional repair kits. Fortunately though, I had been farming plenty of ALX to utilize in the refinery. So that night, I actually slept in the infirmary to take care of some radiation damage, and with the storm now over, another interval vein spawned, so I wanted to grab that one as well as the other that I'd found earlier when setting up pylons. The first was just outside the base, so I quickly hunt that one down. And that one led me towards the rebel camp, and with the supply package complete, I wanted to stop by and drop that off as well. Doing this will lead into some more dialogue with the technician, where you can finally hash things out and get him and the rest of the rebellious alters to come back and rejoin the crew.
Are you still in need of supplies? Because I thought, you know, sharing is caring. What? Man, you just don't give up, do you? Sounds like the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, I gotta say, I might be able to swallow my pride just this once. It's gotten really tight. You're not a minute too early. Look, can't we put all the bad stuff behind us and be a team again? How about all of you just come back to the base? Listen, this is not exactly a dream vacation. It's about survival. And if I had some kind of guarantee that you could protect us from the corporation, I'd be more than happy to come back, instead of struggling with this damn rock. Actually, I talked to Lena, and I might have an idea how to keep the corporation away from you. Really? What is it? Well, if we hijacked the ship somehow and redirected it to a safe location far away from Allied Corp's radars, Lena said she could disable your implants so that you'd no longer be trackable. You'd be back on Earth, and you could be free. Free, huh? Right. There is one thing we'd have to take care of first, though. What's that? Well, while you were away, we discovered that there's a barrier in the sky blocking the way for the rescue ship. I'd be lying if I said I couldn't use your help with it. It's a kind of, all hands on deck situation. So that's what the Karen shit was all about, huh? You know how it is. One hand washes the other. Yeah. I guess neither of us was ever an idealist. At least we can be honest about that. Fine. We'll do it. We'll help you. Yeah? Seriously? Yeah. What are we waiting for?
So with that taken care of, I still had the other planetary sample to get, so I head over to complete that one as well. For the life of me though, I just could not find this one and spent a ton of time running around. Ultimately, I had to complete it the next day, but eventually I found it hiding up in these rocks by the minerals outpost. And then finally back at base, you'll unlock the Reunited achievement as the whole crew is back together and throwing a party up in the kitchen to celebrate.
It's good to have you back.
I missed your ugly face too.
So another night spent in the infirmary after staying out late desperately trying to find that planetary sample, but now with those points available, I began researching free climbing to remove the energy cost required for that, as well as the ALX to minerals conversion just in case I ran into any resource bottlenecks later. And then speaking of resources, I was still using the normal outpost for most of my deposits, so I began crafting the advanced versions so I could swap those out later. After that, I wanted to go out and explore some more of the map, where I finally found the Rapidium Deposit, as well as another cargo crash that contained 2 new movies, Ask Me Something Only I Would Know, and Secret Message from Earth.
Ah, another movie. This one was actually on my pile of shame.
Nearby this, I also found a third interval vein location, and another cargo crash containing a scout badge. So after tracking down that planetary sample, this led me into the Enriched metals deposit, and by this point I pretty much had the entire map discovered. And then back at base to end the day, I built the 4th Rapidium Ark, which earns you the Mission Comes First achievement. And then since I had found another planetary sample, I added the ALX conversion efficiency to the research queue. So waking up the next morning, one thing I had overlooked was with the technician and shrink rejoining the crew, along with Tabula Rasa, I was now short on beds, causing some of the alters to be sleeping on the floor. So rather than building another dormitory, I felt it was time to get everybody their own personal cabins. So I spent some time rearranging things in the base and getting that set up. And then having now discovered the Rapidium Deposit, I ran over there, got the outpost built, and then spent some time creating a pylon path back to base. And then finishing the day, it had been a while since I'd watched a movie with the crew, so I head down to the social room to watch Future Ex-Girlfriend.
Hey, are we watching this or what?
Yes, we are, yes. I just want to make a few more quick tweaks to the device. I think I'm close.
I'm sure. Phil, there's no time to explain.
Oh, you said I have 1 minute.
Phil, I need you to listen to me carefully.
What is this?
6 years ago, aliens arrived on Earth. They consumed all of our natural resources and enslaved humanity.
What was that? What did I just see? What was that? Is that real?
It doesn't have.
So by day 63, I was in pretty good shape with all of my mining outposts now set up with plenty of food and resources, so it was time to get working on the main mission by crafting the fragmentation device and building the Materializer module. Once this is complete, you can walk into the module where the scientists will meet you to discuss the next steps of the plan. Turning on the module will bring the tree to the physical world, allowing you to go outside and climb to the top, where you'll then need to place the fragmentation device to destroy the prism barrier blocking the beacon signal.
The effects are hard to predict, but it could be everything from instruments malfunctioning to the entire base being annihilated within minutes.
However, the scientist warns you that activating the Materializer module will create an extremely powerful electromagnetic field, so while you're out there climbing the tree, the rest of the crew will need to be all hands on deck repairing the base from potential collateral damage. After this conversation, you'll also get a prompt with a warning to prepare for this task by making sure the altars have everything they need, as well as plenty of suit batteries and anomaly shields to sustain the long and dangerous climb. The task will also mention that you should start this in the morning. So for the rest of the day, I crafted a ton of repair kits, suit batteries, and anomaly shields. However, this ended up being a bit overkill for me. First, I assumed that repair kits would be needed during this, but it turns out none of those ended up actually being used. And then if you've got most of the suit upgrades, you shouldn't need more than like 1 or 2 batteries and anomaly shield refills at most. That being said, I would highly recommend upgrading to suit level 2 and unlocking all of the Luminator upgrades at a minimum before attempting this, as it'll probably make it significantly easier to get through. So heading out first thing in the morning, you have a waypoint marked on your map where you can begin the climb. This will give you one final warning to confirm you're ready, as you'll be locked into the mission with no turning back at this point.
All right, I'm ready. Let's get this party started.
This will then lead into a pretty action-packed sequence where you'll need to make your way up to the top of the tree while navigating through a giant obstacle course of anomalies.
Jan, it's not looking good down here. The base is under extreme pressure. Looks like we have a short circuit in the research lab. And I will need to contain it. No, I'll go. You. Damn it. Okay, you take care of it. I got an emergency situation in my sector, and I'm not sure I can fix this shit with a goddamn screwdriver. Surge of electrostatic discharges. Instruments are unstable. But your battery might actually profit from that anomaly.
Prism Anomaly.
Okay, guys. The infirmary is now officially out of order. What? I was just gonna... Oh man. I think I need help. I'm afraid all mechanical instruments are going berserk. Can someone get me out of here, please? In the cooling system.
That slowed me down. I need to press on.
Refinery's gone haywire. I repeat, refinery critical. Wait up! I'm coming to help. Oh, damn it. God, we're not gonna hold on for much longer. Get up here and destroy that son of a bitch.
Almost there. What? Come on! Not more anomalies!
Materializer, it's gonna give in. Launch the device, quick.
Yes! I made it. Here goes.
Get the hell out of there! It's going to disintegrate! You need to get down now!
No other way down. About a close shave. Okay. Let's see how things are going back at the crib.
Cheers. Welcome back. We did quite well, don't you think?
So after that intense sequence now over, and still a little bit of time left in the day, I got the 5th and final Rapidium Ark complete to earn the Exceed All Expectations achievement, and then went down to watch another movie. This time I chose Secret Message from Earth, which ended up being quite fitting, as we're getting near the end of the game, and this was a behind-the-scenes look at some of the real-life people responsible for creating it.
What's the walkie tam miałam příklad vlastně do GTA, do Simsów.
Musimy Motherloadu dodać jeszcze.
Analizowałem sobie nagrania.
What are you working on?
I am analyzing the gameplay and judging why the people are not following my beautiful levels, and the people, everybody's going there with the anomalies. No one is taking the path up that is totally safe, and everybody's dying there. I don't know why.
Now with the beacon able to send its signal to the rescue team, it was finally time to tell the Alters about the request from Ally Corp to smuggle them on board and the potential threat of an armed force that may or may not be friendly. While meeting with them in the kitchen, there's a good amount of back and forth with all of the Alters expressing their concerns and discussing whether or not to handle this peacefully or not so peacefully.
Okay, team, we made it. The rescue ship is gonna be able to land. Hard to believe how far we've come. I have to say, all this time I was trying hard not to think about how much the odds were against us. But we beat them. We beat the odds. It's incredible. It's perfectly fine to be emotional about it. Cheers to us, huh? I mean, it's almost as if we've pushed this world to its limits, but also ourselves. Amazing what human resilience can do. Yeah, I still can't believe any of it. But it's not over yet. There's two things we need to discuss. One, after talking to Ally Corp Big Fish, we decided that it's better for your safety if the crew doesn't know you exist. So, you need to be smuggled on board that ship. What? Hide us? Why? Wait a minute. What do you mean, fake Rapidium Ark? And why can't we travel like normal people? You can't be serious. Why the hell are we supposed to hide? Are we a threat to anybody? All right. And what about the other thing? Okay, here comes problem number 2. I talked to Lena, and after what she told me, I'm not sure I can trust the corporal lady to keep her word and let you stay alive. Which means we might want to think of a way to take control of that ship ourselves. Guide it out of their reach, somewhere they can't find you. Once we land, we'd have to abandon the ship with the Rapidium on board. Ally Corp would find it eventually, but it would buy us time to get you to safety. Hey, wait a minute. This is not what we were preparing for. Hiding and... what? Picking a fight with the rescue team? Interesting. You do know that the crew of that ship will probably be fully armed. Are you willing to confront a military unit? Armed? Why didn't we know about this? Still having doubts if we should trust them. No way. I am not fighting anyone. That would be suicide. I never said anything about fighting them. We need to be smart about this. How about we negotiate? I could talk to them calmly, reasonably. Look, we're a team. We'll think of something, right? Remember, they have no idea about your existence. We can use that to our advantage. Correct. And we can also predict that they will have to enter the base to salvage any mission-critical documentation. That's the procedure, and they will have to follow it. Okay, so maybe we could hide outside, wait until they enter the base, and lock them in somehow. And? What next? What? And just leave them? You do remember about the sunrise, right? Locking them inside the base and taking off without them would be a death sentence. But before they'd die, they'd have enough time to contact Earth and warn everybody. So what do you suggest? If we're really considering going to war with them, I'd say there's a much safer way to handle it. Such as, we could blow up the base with the rescue team inside. Explosives shouldn't be hard to prepare. Now, hold on a minute. No. There has to be another way than killing.
I agree. Let's brainstorm. It should be something Jan could carry out on his own if we're really supposed to be hidden from them.
Any ideas, Brainiac?
We could let them board the ship without knowing that you're not alone, of course. But just before takeoff, you could simply use some kind of incapacitating agent on them.
Like a sleeping gas?
Like a sleeping gas. Of course, you'd have to be prepared for it. Devise some kind of upgrade to your suit so that the sleeping agent doesn't have any effect on you. A gas mask. But the biggest problem with that solution is that you'd have to be smart about deploying it. Sneak up to a ventilation shaft when no one is looking. There's no guarantee you'll have an opportunity to do that.
I say we take the risk. We've done impossible things before, and we can do it now. But killing? That would be new. And I don't think I want to find out how it feels to have blood on my hands.
We're not killers, for crying out loud.
Okay, I get it.
But we have to decide on something.
Just explain one thing to me. Why are we so scared for our lives all of a sudden? After everything we've been through, do we really want to end this as cowards? Look, I'm not a killer, none of us is. But we need to make one thing clear. If the gas doesn't work properly, we'll be screwed.
If you want my opinion, there's only one factor we need to consider while making this decision. The success of the mission.
No. Your safety is what matters most to me.
Okay. Whatever you decide, right now we need to focus on the fundamentals. Let's say we dealt with the rescue team one way or another. What then?
We need to take control of that ship somehow. Lucas could help with that. I already talked to him, and he said he'd think it over.
Well, let's hope you hear from him soon, and we'll have him on board. Because if we don't, we'll have to create our own autopilot device, connect it to the onboard computer, and override the coordinates of our destination.
That sounds like a lot of additional work.
We still need to decide how to smuggle you on board.
I presume you already gave it some thought prior to this conversation?
Yeah, I did. And I figured we should sneak you in with our most precious cargo. Rapidium. How do you want us to fit inside a Rapidium Ark?
As long as it's not hazardous to our health. A Rapidium Ark with a false bottom. That's what we should build.
How about a fake module that's only pretending to be filled with Rapidium?
That's it. We need to create a fake Rapidium Ark.
Something like a Trojan horse?
A Trojan horse Rapidium Ark.
Let's just not get carried away with the mythological references. It's the kind of bravado I'm allergic to.
Yeah, I like it. That's settled. Do we have everything?
Almost. Except the last detail.
What do you mean?
We managed to get on board, hijack the ship, steer it wherever we want. What next, Jan? Have you really thought this through? You said you'd get us to safety, buy us time to escape and hide, but what about you? Our disappearance might even be beneficial to the corporation. It could be convenient for them if we're gone and buried. But you, they'll be determined to hunt you down. They'll need to have a scapegoat, someone they can blame for losing their ship. And contrary to us, you're an existing person. You can be traced. You can be put on trial. Are you sure you want to do this? Suffer the consequences if they catch you?
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Whatever happens, we got your back, man.
Let's hope you know what you're doing.
Well, we're not going to be able to brainstorm everything out, right? Some things are just out of our control. What a mature comment, Jan. I'm proud of you.
That's basically what I've been saying the whole time.
Well. Look who's gained a new
outlook on reality. Let's just do what we do best. I'll activate the beacon, and then we get to work. Let's give it all we've got. We're in this together. This is it. The last stretch.
Yes. No time to waste.
Afterwards, you can return to the sea cliff to activate the beacon, which will officially start the rescue and leave you with a list of final preparations as well as the decision on how to handle this armed unit. Either put them to sleep or blow them up. So getting started on all of this, the first thing I did was add the Ark Sarcophagus and autopilot device to the research queue to have the scientists begin working on that. I also decided to go the sleeping gas route, so I began crafting that in the workshop. Meanwhile, the technician wanted to talk, who apologizes for leaving the base and causing the rebellion, and then also shares your mom's last words, which you never got to hear during your timeline. This will complete the technician's storyline and earn you the Her Last Wish achievement.
Of course I do. She said, just always be yourself, Yannick. And I know your life will be exceptional.
Then it was time for a call with Lucas, who admits that he knew what Maxwell was really doing during his experiments, and to make up for it, agrees to help out the crew. If you can craft a remote access transmitter for him, he can then hack the autopilot of the rescue ship and take over. This will update his task to craft the rat, so I add that to the workshop queue as well. And then after all of that, it was time for another magnetic storm already, so I switched over to repair mode for the rest of the day, ending with a pretty funny scene where the scientist gets a little too close to the sleeping gas that had finished being crafted.
This gas is surprisingly potent. Good.
Day 69 brings another round of increased planetary activity as time on the clock ticks down further. Starting off, the scientist wanted to talk, who has observed some strange readings nearby and wants to leave the base to investigate. He also requests that you give him some polymer, but he won't elaborate any further than that. So agreeing to let him go, you then need to craft 10 polymer to give him, which can be crafted in the refinery or, if available, grown in the greenhouse. So once you give the scientist 10 polymer, he'll leave the base and be unavailable, so keep that in mind if you have any pressing research that needs to be done. Next up, the botanist also wanted to talk, who asks Jan about his future plans and makes a rather bold request to return to Earth as the real Jan, so he can be with Lena while you take on the identity of one of the alters. You do have the option to agree or disagree at this point, but it's not final. Regardless of what option you choose here, you'll be presented with a final choice a bit later.
Just think about it. We still have a few days until the ship lands.
So with that now hanging in the air, it was time to get the Ark Sarcophagus built, and at this point, really the only other thing left to finish up was to decide on one of the two plans for handling the rescue team. I then spent the rest of the day running around the entire map, trying to find the new planetary sample that spawned after the magnetic storm, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I didn't need it for anything though, so unfortunately, if it is out there somewhere, I just kind of had to let it go. And then returning to the base for the night, it was time for the Shrink to talk, who gives me a personal therapy session where you have options to talk about a variety of things, including the botanist's request to swap places. And after this is done, it'll complete the Shrink storyline and unlock the Take It Easy Dude achievement.
Whatever happens, I'm glad you brought me along for this ride. I guess this is my way of saying thank you.
Finally, wrapping things up, the doctor ends the day with some disturbing news that the scientist never returned from his expedition, and with no way to survive the nighttime radiation, things aren't looking good.
What that means, don't you? No. No, it can't be true. He must have had an accident or something. Whatever happened, he doesn't stand a chance out there.
So with the scientist gone and having not finished up research on the suit mask for the sleeping gas option or the autopilot device, I started crafting the explosives as a backup. However, just as I started doing that, I got a notification that the scientist returned, so I immediately ran down to check on him. He'll inform you that he's made a massive discovery of some sort, but it's something you need to see for yourself, so he marks a waypoint on your map for you to go check it out.
Just go and check it out. I'll call you once you get there.
A bridge. So that's what he needed those polymers for.
So, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Not a bad sight, is it?
It's incredible. Is that water?
Yes, I analyzed it. I spent the whole night down in that valley. My radiation sensor didn't spike once. It's like a whole different ecosystem in that area. The atmosphere is different, and there's life in the water and around it. Not just plants, but microorganisms. And it's real. Not a proximity plane, not a potential landscape, but true material reality here and now.
But the sun, doesn't it burn everything on the surface?
That, my friend, is the most interesting part. Come back to the base and we'll talk.
Returning to the scientist, he explains that this mysterious oasis protected him from the radiation overnight and has come up with a theory that this area, filled with vibrant life, has been able to evolve and harness the power of Rapidium to survive the sun's deadly radiation. Every cycle, the oasis gets destroyed, but then rapidly grows back, much like how the altars were created. Fascinated by this discovery, the scientist requests that he be left behind to study it further, feeling that he was technically born here and in a way this is his home planet. This will then give you the decision to let the scientist go or tell him that he has to stay and leave with the rescue crew.
I will accept my fate humbly, whatever you choose it to be.
Agreeing to let him go, he'll still remain until all of the mission research is complete, so I was able to finish the sleeping mask and the autopilot device, but after that, you can talk to him again to say your final goodbyes, having him leave the base for good. This will complete the scientist's storyline and earn you the Hidden Truth achievement.
You can go and get ready to stay behind. We did it. You have all you need, Earth will have Rapidium, and I will go and meet my fate in the Oasis.
So day 71 was the day for me. This was the last day before going into the ending. All I had left to do was craft the autopilot device as well as the suit mask. So once that was complete, you can head into the navigation console in the command center to begin the rescue. This will then update you with a task to meet all of the altars in the Ark Sarcophagus to say your final goodbyes and secure them into their hiding spots.
It's been a ride, huh? Tell me about it. I'll see you around, brother. Yan. T. R. Doski. Oh, shit. Hey, that's a serious name, TR. Looking forward to reading your book. Good. Bye, Yan. Take care out there. The world is your oyster. I won't let ourselves down. All aboard the sarcophagus. I hope you have a smooth ride. You know I always do. Thanks for inspiring me to be more brave in the future. It's good to know that I have it in me. You sure do. All right.
Let's head for the unknown. Again. All right, so this is it.
Yup. It's just the two of us left.
While talking to the Botanist, this is also the point where you'll finally have to decide if you agree to switch places with him or not. On my initial playthrough, I decided to remain as the real Jan, but I'll show you what happens when you agree to switch at the end of this video when walking through all of the alternate endings that I could do.
I can't give up my life for you.
I don't think I'm that selfless. Sure. I understand. I'd probably do the same thing if I were you. Well, in that case, good luck whatever happens. I hope your new life doesn't let you down.
After this, though, you'll have a phone call from Agatha, who basically says she knows what you've been up to and warns you not to interfere with the rescue team.
Smuggle them on board the ship as you were told, and do not attempt a single thing we haven't agreed on. Once you take off, your nightmare will be over, and there will be no more than ghosts to you. You'll forget your worries. Everything is different in the light of day. And of course, I can't wait to have a blast with you at our press conference.
This will then leave you with some final decisions to make as you head to the airlock to meet the rescue team and leave the base for the final time. Will you play along with Agatha and trust Ally Corp, or will you go forward with your plan to take control of the situation to ensure the altar's safety? So from here, I'll show you how I initially finished the game, but then, as I said, I'll go back and also show all of the various alternate endings that I could unlock as well.
So, this is it. Thanks for saving my life, and being a home for me, for us.
This is the Ally Corp Rescue Squadron at your service, sir.
Hello. You made it.
We made it. Hear that, guys? Praising us for getting here on time. You made it, Dolsky. And we couldn't believe the brief when we read it. How are you feeling, big guy?
Ready to do it all over again, if needed.
What a champ. I wish I'd met you earlier. Operating that base, getting it to the other side of the planet, collecting Rapidium, all on your freaking own. Yet we've been having heated debates about how you managed it.
I'll tell you more when we land. We'll have a lot of time to talk, right?
Yeah, brace yourself. You better prepare to be the talk of the town. Anyway, you must be beaten. Get that ready ass of yours on the ship while we run a final checkup on that CP unit. All right, boys and girls. Let's go retrieve some Ally Corp assets. Okay, let's get that Rapidium loaded first.
On it, sir. Scanning for contamination. Hey, there's something strange about this one. It's heavier. And the bioscanner readings.
Contamination?
I don't know. Organic traces.
Dolsky, did you have a cat that climbed into a Rapidium Ark or anything?
Yeah, sure. A ginger cat. Went astray and got infected by an alien. Now, we're all gonna get ripped apart on the way back to Earth.
Right, you got me there. Maybe I did watch too many horror movies.
I assure you, officer, no other life form than me was present in that base.
Yeah, of course. sir. I have no reason not to believe you, but I can't ignore these readings. We're gonna have to run some detailed tests before we take this cargo on board.
Listen, I think I've explained myself enough. I did my best to collect as much Rapidium as I could. I don't want it to go to waste because of your doubts. If there is anything wrong with that Ark, I'm sure Ally Corp experts on the ground can take care of it. But everything I've collected must be brought back to Earth.
Okay, Dulski. You win. But whatever's in there, that's on you.
What do we do, sir?
Load them. All of them. Just make sure those containers are sealed tight. You'll get a proper checkup when we land. We gotta clear the place and get out of here. On the double now.
Nothing.
That's a lot of personal stuff for one guy. Oh, please, can you focus on more important assets than Dulski's own? We ain't got all day. Yes, sir. Head into the research lab and it should be done. You set up the research lab, huh? What a guy. Secured. All good on our side too.
Come on.
All right, let's get the hell out of here before we get fried.
Oh, please. Hurry up. Thank you. Just a random sequence of events. Now I know that there's always another way. I've made my choices. Wherever I go, they will be a part of me.
Good news on the food front, as another Rapidium food factory has been announced to open next month. This time not by a big corporation, but a small startup aiming at producing low-cost, high-quality products for everyone. It's the first time a company from outside the Big Six has taken Rapidium from research to production. And experts have no doubt that this is only the start of a bigger process.
Having these smaller companies who got their share of Rapidium entering the market is great news. Let's remember that those startups have big ambitions. They want to be innovative, think outside the box. And their priority is not to boost their stock prices, but to make their mark in the industry. I'm sure more will follow to create a competitive environment, and in the long run, Rapidium-grown food will become much cheaper and more available to everyone.
More on that subject in our business segment right after the break.
Hello?
Hey, Jan, it's Sarah. Ready for court? The driver's on his way.
I've been stuck in this apartment for months. I'm excited to go anywhere. Even if it is my own trial.
Right. Just stick to the version we discussed, okay?
You mean Ally Corp's version?
That's exactly what I mean. No mention of any illegal experiments up there, and you can count on leniency.
Legal experiments.
Listen, I don't know the details of what went on, and I don't have to know. But we should be glad Ally Corp is willing to turn a blind eye on what you did. Steering their ship into a goddamn desert.
Yeah, well, they got their Rapidium.
That's right. And the Rapidium spin is all they care about. For now. They could stop being so generous if you don't play along. So just go with their story that you lost it up there.
That's your recommendation, as my lawyer.
It makes sense, doesn't it? A man stranded on a hostile planet after losing his whole crew, all alone for so long.
Temporary insanity, huh?
It's a valid strategy.
Except it's not true.
As much as I respect your idealism, I have to remind you that this case is not about establishing the truth. It's about giving Ally Corp what they want and getting you a lenient sentence.
Okay. So, how did the morning hearings go?
Your mission controller testified first, Lucas Pena. He said that your erratic behavior could have been caused by manipulative instructions sent to you by Dr. Maxwell, his former boss.
Thanks, Lucas. You're a real friend.
Maxwell's dismissal from the corporation is something we can work with. But still, you did what you did. You hijacked that ship.
So you still think I'm going to jail?
I don't think we can avoid that altogether. But there's a big chance for probation.
Probation, huh? I think I could handle that. Right. What about the other hearing?
Lena, she stuck to everything we discussed. No surprises there.
Okay.
Well, maybe except for one moment at the end when she pointed out that this was not just any mission for you. And how she witnessed you facing those struggles all by yourself and emerging a changed, better man out of it all.
Really? Those her words?
Yeah. Not exactly a game changer considering the scandal surrounding her exit from Ally Corp, but it's something.
How is she handling it? Being fired like that?
Well, it wasn't nice, but at least they didn't press charges for sabotaging their database or whatever it was that she did.
Right. They simply didn't want anyone to find out how and why she helped me.
What matters to us is that she testified in your favor.
It means a lot to me that she's still rooting for me, despite everything.
You'll be allowed to talk to her after the trial. I know she wants to meet. For now, why don't we focus on your testimony? Let's go through it one more time.
Yeah, no need to do that. My driver just arrived. I should go now.
The driver can wait. Are you absolutely sure you've got this? Your future depends on it.
I know. Don't worry. I'm ready to face it.
Alright, so that is how I officially completed the game, which earns you the Corporate Way achievement by deciding to work with Ally Corp and utilize the neural implants, along with going the peaceful-ish sleeping gas route, along with utilizing the autopilot to keep Lucas out of everything. Now I'll go back and show what happens when I make pretty much all of the same decisions, except this time I'm going to choose to swap places with the Botanist. And then also just kind of a quick note, when I go through all of these alternate endings, I'll try and cut out most of the samey stuff so you don't have to watch that over again and primarily just show the main differences.
What do you say? I've given it some thought, and I realized that my path lies with the others, for better and for worse. So, yes, go instead of me, seek your happiness, and I'll seek mine. Wow. I didn't think you'd be up to it. I honestly don't know what to say. Don't say anything. I'm doing it for the both of us.
So, this is it. I'm on my own. Thanks for a good beginning and being a home for me. For us.
In our business segment right after the break.
Hello?
Hey there.
Lena. Hey.
I'm on my way to your place. Are you ready for a big day?
I've been stuck in these four walls for almost 2 months. I'm excited to go anywhere, even if it's my own trial. Thanks for finding the time to take me there.
It's nothing. I'm just glad I can help in any way. It must be confusing testifying as someone you're not.
Not really, no. I'm Jan Dolsky. That's that. End of story. Everything else is between you and me, right?
Let's hope it's as simple as that. Any news from the morning hearings?
Yeah. My lawyer told me that Lucas Pena testified.
And how'd it go?
Good, I think. He testified that Jan's erratic behavior could have been caused by manipulative instructions from Maxwell. My lawyer thinks that Maxwell's dismissal from the corporation just proves his point, and he's hoping this can swing the cord in our favor.
And how are you feeling? All set to take the stand and give your testimony?
As long as you're by my side, I'm ready for anything.
Good. Then I hope you've been rehearsing what Ally Corp wants you to say. No mention of who you are, or the real Jan, and
The other ones who got away, nothing. You shouldn't jeopardize their safety.
Yeah, I get it. Hard, but necessary.
Just stick to the version recommended by the Allied Corp lawyers, and you can count on leniency.
I know. The prosecutor will respect our understanding and request a minimal sentence.
Yes. That's what they promised you, right?
And you believe their promises?
It's not about believing them or not. You have no other choice. You tried to steal their assets. I'm sorry, but that's how it looks. It's a good thing they were so consumed with salvaging Rapidium from that ship. Otherwise, they wouldn't turn a blind eye about the rest of the cargo getting away. If you don't play along, they can pin so much on you. But I know Agatha. I know why she desperately wants to keep your trial low-key. All she cares about is the Rapidium spin and share prices. So, don't overthink it. Just take the damn deal.
12 to 18 months home confinement. That's what my lawyer said. If I take it. Not that long, huh?
No, not long at all. It's not that hard. You, Jan Dolsky, were out there all alone, suffering from prolonged solitude, radiation, constant fear of dying. That's why you behaved irrationally when the rescue team got to you. And you don't remember why you hijacked the ship and ran away. You weren't yourself.
Very funny.
I'm serious. You need to plead temporary insanity, like your lawyer advised.
Yeah, I know. I was unable to appreciate the nature of my wrongful acts, and I'm happy that Ally Corp tracked me down and offered me mental support. See? I did my homework.
Yeah, now you need to deliver, okay? You need to do it for the sake of the others out there. Ally Corp promised not to seek them out actively.
It's not the others you care so much about, but him, right? You'll never stop caring for him even though he let you go.
He sacrificed himself for the sake of whatever he had in his mind. How can I not give a shit about that?
No, you're right. Of course, I'm sorry. Stupid jealousy.
Jan cared for you too, you know? All of you. So, it's just about basic decency.
You're right. I owe it to them. You did your thing by disabling that implant tracking system, but I guess it's not enough for Ally Corp.
It's not. If they set their minds on something, they're bound to achieve it one way or another. And since they fired me, you no longer have a friend on the inside.
I know.
Right. I'm outside your building. Just need to find a parking spot.
Good luck with that.
It's not such a bad neighborhood.
You think?
For home arrest.
Right.
Bingo. Found it. You can come down. Don't forget your ID.
I won't. Lena.
Yeah?
I really appreciate this. I do.
I know.
I get how crazy this must be for you. It's crazy for me too. But I love you.
Right. Just give me time, okay?
Of course. Looks like I'll have a lot of that. I'll see you in a minute.
So returning as the Botanist will get you the I deserved this more achievement. And then moving on to the next alternate ending. This one is basically agreeing to play ball with Ally Corp and trust the rescue team. This can be either done voluntarily by choosing the do nothing option when the prompt comes to use the sleeping gas, or involuntarily by not being able to talk your way out of the bioscanner readings that the soldiers get on the Ark. Basically, if you don't choose any of the learned lesson trait dialogue options, this is what will happen.
On second thoughts, let's just see how this plays out.
Dosky, did you have a cat that climbed into a Rapidium Ark or anything?
Cat? Not that I know of.
Well, we got something in here. Any explanation you can give me?
Sorry, but no idea.
Seriously? The readings show that there's signs of life inside this crate. And it's considerably heavier than the other ones. We can't just ignore it. You might be a hero, Dosky, but you need to cooperate.
I told you, I have nothing to declare.
Sir, sun's gonna rise any minute now.
Fine. We can't waste any more time on this. Get those Arks on board. All of them. Corporal, get back to the ship and escort Mr. Dulski to our premium suite for special guests. Sorry, Dulski, but we gotta keep an eye on you until we clear this matter. Now let's go get that base sorted.
How did I end up here?
After the break.
Hello?
Hi, Jan. Peter here. So, we have 2 interviews scheduled for today and an optional charity dinner, but we'll get to that later. The car's on its way. I thought I'd call and check if you're ready.
More interviews? When do I get a day off?
I'm sorry, but you're bound by the contract you signed when you volunteered for Project Dolly. Plus, you know, you're a hero now. It's part of the job.
Anything new I should be prepared to talk about?
Not really. Same old story. You know the drill.
Yeah. I brought the Rapidium all on my own thanks to my determination and undying faith in the mission.
As well as the support and dedication of Ally Corp professionals.
Exactly my thought.
Perfect. You're all set then.
Agatha back from her business trip yet?
Yes, I believe she is. Why?
Did you deliver my message to her?
I'm sorry. I only got to her assistant. She said she'd pass it on.
And? Did she?
Look, if this is about that special cargo you asked about, I don't think we're getting much out of them. I don't know what was in it, but maybe you should just let it go. I mean, you can have whatever you want now. Extended health care, increased personal expenses, a bigger apartment, maybe? If there's anything you need, Ally Corp just wants us to let them know.
Tell Agatha to meet me in person, or I swear I'll spill the whole truth at these interviews.
Jan, listen to me. You've been through a lot up there, no denying that. If you need a rest from your public duties, I'll set up a meeting with your mental health counselor.
You think I'm a fruitcake?
No, I don't. But if you go out there saying crazy things, the corporation will make sure people take you for one. Right. Moving on to that charity event. Like I said, it's optional. You don't have to go. Dr. Lena was invited too. And her assistant called yesterday, asking if you're planning on attending. Because if you are, she'd rather skip it. I guess running the Department of Rapidium Technologies makes her value her time more, huh? So, question is, are you planning on attending?
Is there really no chance of the two of us being in the same room?
I don't know. I think this is between you and her. I don't do personal matters, really. But you were in touch with her during the mission, right? I heard that she helped you somehow?
Yeah, she did. I guess she's just disappointed with how I played things out.
Disappointed? Are you serious?
Looks like it, yeah. But I did what was best for me, and I have no regrets.
How can you have any regrets? I'm sorry, but I don't understand.
Never mind.
Okay. So what are we telling her PA? About that dinner? Do you want to go?
I'll pass. Tell Lena she can have the stage all to herself. Please send her my congratulations on her new role at Ally Corps. Big step up for her.
Of course I will. Now, I have a list of questions for the first interview in front of me. Why don't we go through them quickly?
Too late. That's my driver. Gotta go.
Well, are you sure? I mean, there are a few that could be tougher than usual.
Don't worry. I'll be fine. I'm not afraid of tough questions.
So that is the all by myself achievement ending, and now for the ending where you decide to use the explosives rather than the sleeping gas. This will require us to go back a day to do some extra prep, as you first need to plant the 4 explosives around the base. 1 in the airlock, 1 in the command center, 1 in the machinery, and then finally 1 for the quantum computer. The other difference with this choice is you don't have the option to keep Lucas out of it by using the autopilot device, so no matter what, he'll be involved, which has some tweaks to the ending. This part is the same outcome if you would have chosen to utilize the rat device.
Hello?
Hey, Jan, it's Sarah. Ready for court? The driver's on his way.
Okay. So, how did the morning hearings go?
Your mission controller testified first, Lucas Pena. He took full responsibility for hijacking the ship, said you had nothing to do with it.
Does that mean he's in trouble?
What do you think? He wasn't working for Ally Corp anymore when he did it. He hacked into their systems. That's breaking the law.
Poor Lucas. I should have kept him out of this.
If it's gonna make you feel any better, he seemed quite happy about it. Said he was glad he could play a role in something finally. I think that's how you phrased it. Anyway, that's taking a lot off your shoulders, but then again, there's the fate of the rescue team. People lost their lives, and the prosecutor thinks your recklessness might have played a role.
I'm willing to take the blame for that.
I suggest you take it easy and stay in your lane. Jumping the gun with honorable gestures is not gonna help your cause.
I'm not getting away with it completely, am I?
I wouldn't count on it. But that makes Peña's testimony even more valuable to us. Tell them what they want to hear, and you might be out in a couple of years.
Right.
That is the It Ends in Flames achievement ending, which is pretty similar to if you use the sleeping gas. There's just a few dialogue changes addressing the explosion, but the overall outcome is pretty much the same. And then finally, the last alternate ending I could get was again choosing to swap places with the Botanist, but this time I don't use the sleeping gas or the explosives and leave the original Jan and the rest of the alters in the hands of Ally Corp. So this is basically the all by myself ending, but you do it as the Botanist, which has some different consequences.
Second thoughts? Let's just see how this plays out.
People have continued to take to the streets in reaction to food rations being cut down to the bare minimum. Now onto the top story of the week. Events are unfolding rapidly as Ally Corp has announced today that the Rapidium found by one of its missions has been tested, verified, and cleared for development in the newly created Department of Rapidium Technology. According to the press release, the new unit will be run by Dr. Lena Berg, a biotechnician with significant experience in Ally Corp's research department. Dr. Berg will lead a team of highly skilled professionals to develop and deliver the best Rapidium growth products. Ally Corp also pledged to share Rapidium with non-profit organizations according to their subsidy terms. Experts say that this is what matters most.
I'm sure Ally Corp can come up with some exciting Rapidium solutions quickly, but what's really important is that they won't have monopoly. And we will get Rapidium-grown food, not just for the richest buyers, but for everyone.
More on that subject in our business segment right after the break.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
Lena. I was pretty sure you wouldn't want to talk to me.
I'm sorry I reacted like that. I was in shock. I needed to be alone.
But you're calling now. That's all that matters.
Well, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, but then I found out we've been invited to the same press event. Jan Dolsky, the man who brought Rapidium to Earth.
And Lena Berg, freshly appointed as the head of Ally Corp's Department of Rapidium Technologies.
You heard.
Of course. Congratulations. I'm so proud.
Thanks. Jan. It's still so awkward to call you that knowing who you really are.
I understand how hard it must be, but everything will be different with me, I promise.
I have to say I appreciate your honesty. The way you just reached out to me. It was very brave of you to tell me the truth, instead of pretending to be him. Like you do in front of everybody else.
Brave? Please, Lena, I could never lie to you. It's against my nature. I just wish I could show myself to the world like I'm showing myself to you. Sharing that secret with you is almost like splitting the burden in half. So I'm the one who should be saying thank you.
In that case, can I ask you something? The other night,
when we met and you told me about yourself. You said Jan, my ex, wanted you to come back instead of him. But you never said what really happened to him and the others. Didn't they get onto that rescue ship?
They did get on the ship, yes, but I'm afraid that's the last I've heard of them.
So what about the plan to hijack the ship? Jan asked me to disable the tracking of your implants so that he could get you away to a safe location. Did he give up on that?
Actually, I was the one who gave up on that plan. I wanted to keep you safe. You'd probably lose your job and who knows what else.
What? What are you talking about? You're telling me you left Jan and the others to the mercy of the corporation when you could have set them free? Who are you?
I'm the guy who cares for you. I couldn't put your career, maybe even your life, at risk. I thought you'd won.
How do you know what I want? You don't know me. I never asked you for anything. Whoever you are, you're scaring me. This was a mistake. Don't ever call me again.
So yeah, pretty gross. That is the things we do for love ending, where you betray everyone as the botanist, and that is officially all of the achievement endings you can get, excluding the one where you complete the game with Maxwell's help. Given I did the neural implants, I'll need to go back and restart from Act 2 to get that one, I think. So I'll leave you with that. This was my full playthrough and guide for the altars. I hope you enjoyed it. I personally had a great time with this game and thought it was extremely well done. Highly recommend picking it up if this type of gameplay interests you. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.